The Carmyllie Bigfoot. These experiences happened at my grandparents' property, and we spent a lot of our childhood there, and my brother currently lives there. The first incident took place during the day, when I was sent out to get the newspapers that got delivered to the neighbours at the bottom of the road. I was with the dog, and we were coming down the path that leads to the track, running past the bottom of the property and out to the farm road. Just before I got onto the track, the dog suddenly stopped and started to growl and whine and bare her teeth. I remember seeing the hair rising on her back, but I carried on past her for a few paces, ending up on the track. I just thought she had heard a fox or something, and that had spooked her. I carried on to get the newspapers, and as I looked up, at that moment, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I saw a large black figure further along the track, standing with its back to me. I don't think it knew I was there, or it just wasn't bothered. It was reaching up to a branch on a tree, and it was at the side of the track, and was tall, and had a thick build, with no neck, and wide shoulders, and it was hairy all over. I remember standing in shock for a second or two, before screaming and turning to run back to the house. As I screamed, it slowly started to turn round, but I didn't hang about to see its face. Needless to say, my reports of seeing a monster were not taken seriously and dismissed as it was probably just a neighbour. I can't give an exact year, but I was around 8 or 9 years old. And this is an estimation, as I remember drawing a picture of it in primary 5 at school, so that puts it around 80, 81. And I don't have an exact time of year, but the leaves were out on the trees, so it would have been sometime between early summer and autumn. There are other things that happened at Carmyllie, and there were 2 further incidents around that time, but they're more tenuous. One was at night when we were driving, as we were coming up the road in the car, and just as we were turning right onto the track, there was a figure further up on the road, looking towards the headlights. You couldn't see him clearly, but I briefly made out a humanoid shape, and there was orangey eyeshine reflecting from the lights. It was just standing in the middle of the road, and at the time, I told myself it was probably a person. The final incident was when we were out picking wild raspberries, and we heard something way back in the woods, a long, deep wail. The adults in the group commented, wondering what it was, as they hadn't heard it before and they couldn't pin it to any animal. But then they just carried on with what they were doing, like it was forgotten about. Many strange things happen at Carmyllie. The quarry has been a place many locals avoid, with finds of bones and den-like structures, and other people in the area have reported accounts of the big ginger rar in the heavily wooded forest. One of the places here in the UK that is ideal habitat for anyone wanting to remain unseen. And that account is Charmaine Fraser's account, and anyone who knows British Bigfoot research will have heard of Charmaine. And she's a researcher in her own right. She's done an amazing amount of research in the Angus area, Midlothian area of Scotland. And I think Carmyllie itself, when we look at the area, it used to be, well, it still is a thick forested area, but it used to be much more thick, much more forested, much easier. And if you look, and I've put some little screen grabs on from the map, and as you can see, there are a lot of accounts on the north-east coast of Scotland. We have the Carmyllie eyeshine that we've just done. We have the Bigfoot crossing, and that is the 2 accounts on the Tay Road, seen within the same period of time by 2 separate witnesses. We also have the Torbury Bankery. We have the Torness Wildman, the Black Leaping Creature of Ailf. And this was one that came to Charmaine, and this report was sent to her, and it was regarding a possible sighting. And she went and investigated the area, and she found a structure in the same spot. So it just says, I just wanted to contact you to tell you about a sighting my wife had last Sunday evening at 7:30 while driving along a wooded section of the A926 near Ailf towards Kirriemuir. I was driving and didn't see anything, but my wife in the back suddenly said, "Did you see that?" She said she saw something a distance ahead on the verge of the road within the dense woodland that she initially thought was a man walking, but then it leaped further into the wood very quickly and stopped. And she said it looked like a black shadow and it was tall and wide. My wife said she got the impression it was about to cross the road and then let deeper in the woods upon hearing the car. She was a bit shaken up and said her hair was standing on end. I probably would have turned the car around and had a look myself if it was just me and my wife, but my auntie was in the car and had been woken up by the commotion and was not impressed. She has considered other logical, normal reasons, such as a deer or a hiker, but she didn't believe they could look like what she saw. Anyway, it may just have been an optical illusion, that something normal seemed unusual, but I thought I would tell you about it, as I understand you are researching this phenomenon. And there are lots of us across the UK that are researching this phenomenon, and we all come together here on YouTube or on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere we can. We meet up and we swap the accounts and the stories. And from the Basque Hills all the way to Bankery, we have 18 accounts of a tall, hairy, two-legged, upright, walking creature. And one day, with a bit of luck, we may all know what he is. But for now, we call him the British Bigfoot. Until next time, thank you very much. Goodbye.